For me, forgiveness and compassion are always linked. How do we hold people accountable for wrongdoing and yet at
This
the
room is
same
being
time remain in touch with their humanity enough to believe in their capacity to be transformed? That is a quote from Bell Hooks, and this is the Inspired Poetry Corner. Welcome, welcome, welcome all. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever part of the planet you are. I hope you're enjoying your Sunday, or for some of you, maybe it's Monday already. But thank you and welcome to the Inspired Poetry Corner. And thank you for gracing us with your presence. We have a powerful show today, and powerful because I'm just going on memory. A couple of times I've heard this young woman's poetry. I always thought it was very powerful voice. I'm really looking forward to hearing her again. But before we do that, I just wanted to say welcome to you all. I hope you're all in really good spirits. I hope you've had a good day since we last gathered. I know some of you were here for last month's show. So for those that I haven't seen in a while, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're in good spirits. I hope your health is well, your family. Life is good. And we're all riding the roller coaster of life. So, as you know, this is not an open mic. It is a recital. So I will post the list of the poets that are going to be reciting after our feature. And if there's room, I will try and squeeze a couple other people in. But I think we're good to go. Does anyone have any questions, concerns? Anyone and say anything to take a moment and like I know you guys do this a lot, but never take it for granted our ability to connect, and especially with technology, bringing us together on a Sunday morning like this. And I know, like I said, I know you guys do this a lot, and there's a multitude of great shows.
Can I just ask something? And that is, am I allowed to do Halloween poems?
Sorry?
Am I allowed to do Halloween poems?
I don't know. Are you Richard? Of course you are.
Well, I allow myself, but I just thought somebody might.
No, I don't put restrictions that way, my friend. It is,
Yeah,
for many is that time of the season. So,
they're not overly sort of
no, it's all
religious, are they? They're sort
no.
of like anti-religious, but I
I,
thought
I,
might
I, I
be
trust adults. I trust adults in the pool. So,
okay.
knock
Thank
yourself
you.
out. But thanks
It's
for
the only
asking.
time of year you do them, isn't it?
What
Yeah.
about the witch phobic?
Well, you never know.
Well, I don't know. Depends. Witches are people too, man. So anyway, no, but I appreciate you asking there, Richard, and thank you so much. But all right, well, let's just get into this because I wanna give this young lady as much time as possible, not just for a set, but also to converse with her. So let's jump right into the show. Let's get started. We're here today to spotlight, to feature Maureen Medina, aka Peach Cobb. She's a proud Filipina, author of My Fears Out Loud. Maureen leads writing workshops that incorporate somatic expressions and foster a sense of safety and agency to explore the full human experience. With her work in poetry, she invites us to bear witness to ourselves and the world at large, to heal individually and collectively. Maureen advocates for all animals, including humans. She asserts that all oppression and therefore all liberation is connected in alignment with the ethos that none of us are free unless all of us are free, which was inspired by Fannie Lou Hamer. Maureen hopes to inspire the pursuit of collective liberation with her writings and in the spaces she holds. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a powerful voice. From my memory of listening to her in the past, that's one of the reasons I asked if she would feature. I'm so glad she did because it was a while ago when I asked her to do this. But my memory serves right. I am really looking forward to the words, the tone, the messaging, the compassion, the empathy that my memory serves of her poetry. So we're in for a treat. Ladies and gentlemen, the Inspired Poetry Corner is proud to present this month's feature, Maureen Medina, aka Peach Cobb. The mic is yours, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. And thank you to the Inspired Poetry Corner for hosting me and holding this space for so many artists. I'm going to be honest, I'm terrified as always, but I know that the things that are most meaningful to me also terrify me the most. So I'm just going to own this fear and I'm just going to be honest because that's all I can be. I just want to not provide a content warning, but just to let you know, my tone tends to be centered on grief. And I give myself permission to rage and question and challenge and to be an ally in every way that I can be. So that is what what I'll be sharing today. But first, let's start with something, maybe the only soft thing I will share. You begin. You begin with your hand. Your hand is your heart telling you when safety is within reach. You grasp a thing you do not know, only knowing that you want more of it. More, more, more. You reach out with your heart. Your heart is your hand, and you begin. So that's the first piece. And now let's get into it. So I invite you to check in with your breath and your body mind throughout the whole event. Okay, let's see what I would like to share here. The giving tree. Shades and shadows, will and willows. To build, we must first destroy a thing so big, so all-encompassing, it must be annihilated. It must yield to us, and yet we lay our burdens on it. We lean on it with our full weight. We abscond with its life force, with unnecessary force, with hungry jaws of steel, as ravenous as humans. Insatiable, irredeemable, breathtaking. Giving a moment here. I hear it before I see it, the roaring of the saw, the tremor of human thirst. They rev the engine again and again, and as the blade takes its first bite, its snapping teeth grating against the bark, the trunk, the home. We hear the bend and crackle. It wavers as if in a deep slumber. God's gentle giant keels over. Mother Nature hemorrhaging and all her inhabitants left homeless, displaced from their cozy nests, burrows, and hiding spots, their life savings of nuts, seeds, and refuge scatter and ricochet against each other as the human makes its kill. The tree, majestic and ancient, falls to its demise, bringing everything, everyone with it. We are supposed to respect our elders, but instead we squander what they have taught us, ancient wisdom lying lifeless before its maceration, before its transformation into something thin and flimsy, a perfectly shaped rectangular leaf. Something that fits in our greedy, grubby hands, something so small. We commit this sacrilegious act of massacre. We annihilate life only to exploit it in a different form, to make a big thing a small thing that destroys everything, to make the big thing obsolete, only to discover in the end it was our life force. It is our life force and the only thing we need. We take its breath away, and its absence will soon take ours. Rest in peace, O wise one. I'm sorry. We'll all be sorry. These days, what impresses me are the things that survive. Not the test of time, but the test of humans. The things that live in spite of us. The things that persevere even as we plunder them. What impresses me are eyes that cast reverent glances, not greedy ones. Eyes that pray, not eyes that prey. Eyes in awe of all they take in, not eyes that seek what they can take. Eyes that see instead of turning a blind eye. What impresses me is how a gust of wind can make the coldest person shiver, how fire can burn everything to ash while human hands turn everything into the past. What impresses me is how life goes on, adjusts, redirects while we lose our wits and our way, how our refuse becomes a part of nature, though it never becomes natural. What impresses me is how removed we are while having our hands in everything. What impresses me is how we pray to God while playing God. But God is not responsible for this desecration. God is the aftermath. God is what remains and what we leave in our wake. I gaze out the window as I sit on the bus. Only one bag per passenger. As if I'm not carrying the enormity of the world's ache on my back. I got backbone. I got spine on me. I'm not spineless like that book I couldn't fit in my luggage. I removed it begrudgingly. Hurriedly, the way I trade in my ignorance, bliss long gone, replaced with stirrings of action. How do I enjoy the view when I know what to look for? Cows of all sizes, mamas grazing with their young before their eventual slaughter. Do they know freedom was never theirs? Sheds upon sheds of man-made social pariahs, brothels both home and exile, life within and without margins. We drive by so fast everything is blurred, moral ambiguity in my peripheral, no time to see what's good. No time to see what's bad. The man beside me tells me what he sees, but he wears rose-colored glasses and I cannot trust his vision. He babbles on like the brooks and rivers that no longer flow. Instead, the storks build nests from the sea of human waste, microbeads and styrofoam. Oh, how we underestimate the minutiae. We watch them in awe as they glide about, protecting their children from us. Humans. We are not natural predators, but we are predatory. Rupture without repair is our love language, and we just can't seem to shut the fuck up. We talk until we are blue in the face. Because the trees are gone, oxygen is gone, food is gone, life is gone. We are all deer in the headlights, and there isn't time to swerve. It's too late to stop, and the brakes are rigged. Everything we touch turns to dead. 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 Build it, and they will come. And they did. They came, they saw, they conquered, and everything perished. For on the seventh day, when the Lord rested, war was born. So now I'm gonna switch a little bit into, I'm just gonna switch a bit. Switch. It's called fuck your obsequious, which is excessive obedience. That's what obsequious means. Ching chong, konnichiwa. Their small hands assault the glass as their small mouths spew vitriol. I am in a classroom surrounded by smallness. They flank me, peer at me with contempt because they do not know me. They do not know what they do not know, and yet they know enough to use their small fingers to stretch their eyes, to span generations of ignorance, dancing side to side, emulating a caricature of what they think my face represents. I glance at them as they sneer at me with their wicked eyes. They know at this age to bludgeon with their fists and words without impunity. They move with intent, trying to colonize my peace, insatiably divvying up the pieces of me they wish to conquer. And it hurts, because I have endured this before. I've endured this before in a bouquet of betrayal so lovingly gifted to me by my own flesh and blood. My niece studies my face, and then my sister's. She asks for a selfie to commemorate our time together, but first, more scrutiny. With her small finger, she points to her nose, and then mine. Perfect nose, ugly nose. Perfect nose, ugly nose. And then she giggles. My sister laughs and lauds her daughter's wit, later recounting the story to her husband with pride. This slight was just the latest regurgitation, an inheritance and transmission, a manifesto of erasure, a refining of the master's tools, a sharpening of the master's blade to cultivate self-annihilation. The knife is ready with jagged edges, but I will not cut my nose to spite my face. I will not maim myself to make them feel whole. I will not be an accessory to my own ruination. I will not succumb to the master's army, even if the soldiers are tiny, fragile things. Even if the soldiers are hostile and leering, even if the soldiers raised me. Even if I have known these soldiers my whole life, even if I have known these soldiers from the moment they were born and loved them as though they were my own. Even if the soldier has surpassed all defenses and taken refuge in my soma, lashing out in ugly, ugly ways, making me feel even uglier. The master is ubiquitous. He infiltrates the air we breathe, poisons our waters, incinerates our lands, and corrupts our language. He mirrors the worst of us, but a mirror is both opposite and identical, and I have learned to discern the difference. Audre Lorde said, "The master's tools will never dismantle the master's house." So let's put them to rest. Walk out. Leave from the front door, and with buoyancy and reverence, with immutable joy, love each other home. And this next piece is, I've been exploring my body and nudity and expressing myself, just my agency. And I realized that that's not always received well because of ignorance and conditioning. So I will be talking about genocide here and mechanisms of war. This piece is called "I Wanted to Read a Poem About Genocide," and it's inspired by June Jordan's poem, Moving Towards Home. I wanted to read a poem about genocide, and I asked a friend to record me. I wanted to read a poem about genocide, but that day I donned a nude shirt without a bra. I wanted to read a poem about genocide, but my nipples were showing. They were harder to absorb than the content I'd hoped to share. See, I was responsible for the reaction of every set of eyes laid upon my nipples. Because a liberated body is more intrusive than bodies bombed to smithereens, more than fragmented parts of a person collected into a backpack, more than a child whose head was held hostage by an army to refuse their mother a peaceful goodbye. More than running a train on a nurse who works 25-hour days in a hospital beyond capacity. More than a law that allows children's not yet fully developed bones to be pulverized as long as they aren't killed. More than a child blinking and then opening their eyes to see their entire family slain before them. More than premature infants removed from the NICU because every hospital was burned to ashes. My dark, pointed nipples are more difficult to digest than soil and leaves that children forage because starvation is a mechanism of war. More than a child being maimed and poisoned, mining for minerals that both feed and threaten their family in a continuous loop. More than a child exposed to toxic fumes, dismantling e-waste to earn a few coins a day because capitalism, because colonialism, because imperialism. My body is not safe even while I talk about other unsafe bodies, bodies that are condemned based on the color of their skin, their size and function, the anatomy between their legs, and the abundance of their lands. As long as we have something to be taken, and trust me, they take everything, we are not safe. So I ask you, you who are focused on the trivialities of my body, I ask you to cast your gaze upon those who need you to see them. Challenge your conditional discomfort and get uncomfortable with genocide. Get uncomfortable with the prison industrial complex, the medical industrial complex, the mental health industrial complex. Get uncomfortable with ethnic and racial cleansing. Get uncomfortable with the great replacement for the sake of racial hygiene. Get uncomfortable with forced sterilization and eugenics. Get uncomfortable with every imperialist motive that has radicalized you to the extent that you are more focused on my nipples than on the fact that our world is crashing and burning. And do something. Anything. Read, listen, research, donate, write a letter, sign a petition, join a protest, support organizers, amplify, gather, resist, and stop worrying about my goddamn nipples. So do we have time for one more?
Yeah, you got time for a couple more if you like.
Okay. Okay, let's see what we have here. I don't know. I'm gonna try to lighten the mode, but let's see how that goes here. No, I'm not gonna lighten the mode. It's okay.
I was just gonna say, don't worry about them.
Yeah. Okay, so this piece, so in my bio that I shared, I care about all animals, and a reminder, humans are animals. And so I live in Portugal where bullfighting is, it's not really fighting, it's bullying and antagonizing the bull. But it's seen as entertainment here. And so I'm in a campaign to stop bullfighting. And the more I learn, the more I realize that all animals, human or not, we are assigned, we are assigned as good and bad, as acceptable, as terrorists, okay? But resistance isn't terrorism. And so I just want to say that the bull is literal and metaphorical. And so here we go. The bull. A bull is never violent, only desperate. Like any enslaved being pushed to their limit, he demonstrates his will to live so vigorously, he astonishes his captors. His struggle amuses them, whetting their appetite for dominance. While the cape and the spear taunt the bull, his futile attempts to flee are turned into sport. His will to live becomes a spectacle, prompting spectators to forsake their humanity as their true nature comes to light. He is called a beast because he fights until his inevitable death. Yet, great innovators of war, they commit transgressions, each one more cruel than the last. Lessons from small minds passed down to small children who are taught to start small. Any creature of any age, as long as victory is a sure thing, is fair game. But unlike the children who are taught to break, the ones who are broken never grow old. Blinding the bulls blinds our children, poisoning the bulls poisons our children, ambushing the bulls, betraying them, being their source of nourishment and annihilation disorients the children. Whips, lassos, spikes in agitation, all tools of entitlement that maim our children who grow up to be angry agents of war that forget they too were once children. Their sole intention is making a peaceful being betray their true nature, which begs the question, is it violent to survive by any means necessary? Or is the violence in the breeding grounds of ruin, where life is dead on arrival? A bull is never violent, only desperate. This piece is called Flesh. I peer at them, awestruck, as their teeth sink into flesh like a chorus. Obliterated, elegantly plated, a deep charred soul sinking into digestion. The oil dribbles from their open mouths in bits of masticated victims, sloshing around, drowning even in death. Marinated in herbs. The flesh is unrecognizable, euphemisms whet appetites, while truth invites the sneers of gluttonous beasts. Chewy and sinewy scraps of a life that once was. The beating heart of a battered being whose life was made null into a batter. Deep-fried love crimes that crisp and crackle, gravy thick as Dante's Inferno, where the innocent are immersed once more into the Anthropocene. They are laid to rest in pieces, their parts valued over their whole, entire being. I fear the flesh munchers, for their notion of love begins and ends with possession. And if I have time, I do have one more piece.
Yes, please.
But if not, I can leave it at that.
Nope, please do.
Okay. Sorry, one second. Sorry, one moment. There are so many silences to be honored, like unspoken agreements between lovers, like knowing glances exchanged between allies, like the searching hand feeling for safety, like the reassuring squeeze of a hand in response, like the first movements of a child tucked away safely inside the womb. like a long embrace shared between two consenting, needing bodies. Like the tree that was not cut down and therefore made no sound, like the body that was left autonomous and pure, like the cool touch of a breeze, like the slow rise of a flower in water, like the warmth of home, like the pit in your stomach when you're ready for battle, like the tremor in your voice when you're ready to break the silence, because there are so many silences to break. Thank you so much.
Well done, Maureen. Well done. I love the quiet
Wonderful.
space that you created with your poetry. Yeah. Before we interview you, let her know. Let her know. You can do it again at the end. But that was a powerful, powerful reading. I love the long pauses, although you kept apologizing for them. But it works because the poetry is so deep and so thought provoking. I love the fact that maybe intentional and unintentional, maybe there's no such thing, but I love that space allowed you the time to absorb it before you moved on to the next one. So that was well done. How are you feeling now? Because you said you were terrified when you started. If we can all look so gracious and peaceful as when we're terrified, but how are you feeling now?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you again. Yeah, I am terrified because, while I do have moments where I live in joy and celebration, a lot of the grief that I hold, I release it through my poetry. And so while it seems like I put so much emphasis on the painful stuff, which I do, it's also what I'm releasing out of my body as much as possible, right? And so I feel terrified sharing so much of myself and what hurts me, what pains me, and what makes me human. But then when I'm in it, I don't know if you can. Then I start getting angry, and then I start reading my poetry, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not scared anymore. I'm pissed, and so yeah, I'm pissed and I'm passionate, so when I say bear witness, I mean bearing witness to my own feelings, giving myself permission to feel the full breadth of what it means to be human, and hopefully inviting others to do the same. So still terrified, but mostly like activated,
Yeah.
like ready for action.
Well, I mean, it just highlights the complexity of our humanity. We can hold multiple things at the same time, not just one thing. So
Exactly.
I tell my sister that all the time. Anytime I do anything, I still, get nervous if that's what you want to call it, or afraid or doubt myself. Can I actually do this? And yet I've done thousands of shows and blah blah blah. But I just don't let it stop me. Right? It's part of being human, right? And that's the complexity of humanity because the yin and the yang, we all have it. So, but you carried it off well. So I always tell people, when you're nervous, embrace the nerves. Fear says you're not worthy. Fear would say Maureen is not worthy to sit here today and to be featured, to be spotlighted, to have others give up a part of their day for you, and you are worthy of that. So be nervous, be scared. Who cares? Just keep doing it. So I just want to, chat with you just a little, just to get to know, Maureen a little bit. Peach Cobb. How did you come up with that Peach Cobb? How did that come about?
Okay, so I've worked in social services for many years, starting with advocacy work for humans. And then when I went vegan, then I extended my activism to other animals. And because I was doing a lot of like protesting and things and different agencies and such, uh, I had to kind of keep myself separate, like at least on social media for when there was footage. And so my pit bull, who's passed away, her name was Princess Peach, my peach cobbler.
Mm.
And so I thought, okay, this can be my alias. This is like a different layer of my activism. and advocacy work. And so Peach Cobb just stuck. And so Maureen entered the shelters, the hospitals, the city agency, the offices, but then Peach Cobb would go and protest them. So
Gotcha.
the multitude of a human being, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say more again, once again, the complexity, right? I love that. So, where in Portugal are you? Are you in Lisbon or?
No, I'm still mispronouncing it, but there's like the district of Aveiro, and then I'm like in the small town within it called Ovar. And I've been here since 2021, and it's so different from New York, where I was born and raised.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I'm if you know where Porto is, it's more north, so I'm like an hour south of Porto.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going on an old memory in my mind of Portugal. So, but so how, so you grew up, you were born in New York. Where in New York? Like, give us a little quick Maureen story.
Oh God, I don't even know what to say. I'm Filipina, born and raised in New York. I lived in Queens and also in Brooklyn. And then I worked in social services most of my career and even now to an extent, but now more with writing and mental health, a focus on writing and mental health and
Mhm.
like somatic expression. And yeah, my partner and I, we left the US because I was tired of working 2, 3 jobs, having like crippling debt and just like being stuck in the wheel.
Yeah,
And in Portugal, like I still work hard, I still hustle, but it's for myself and it's not because I have to pay the bills.
right.
Of course we always have to pay the bills, it's capitalism. But we have to pay the bills, but now I can do it more on my own terms instead of just like tunnel vision, just being in survival mode. Now we get to live and enjoy myself
Mhm.
and have a quality of life that I didn't imagine before. Like we grow our own food. Most of what we eat is from our garden, and we make our own laundry detergent. Like we're really trying to be as sovereign as possible and so that I went from New York City and to here in Portugal. And when people say, "Oh, did you miss New York?" I kind of compare New York like to a toxic ex. Like we had great times, we had a lot of fun, but it also didn't really bring out the best parts, not the best parts, but the parts of me that I think align with the values that I ultimately have and want to nourish.
Mhm. This place that you've gotten to in your life through your activism, the works that you've done. What inspired that? Was that something that you witnessed as a child growing up in New York, from your parents, from your community? Like, how did you get to this point?
Well, as well, when I was younger, I live in Queens and in where
Yeah,
I'm
hold
well
on. Before you say it, we're in
mm,
Queens.
in Flushing.
So I lived in South Ozone for a while.
Okay, so yeah, I was never really around there, but
Yeah, I know it's really
um,
fun, but yeah, I know where. Yeah, anyway, yeah.
but so where I was in Flushing, there are a lot of day laborers that like stand outside all day for hours, regardless of the weather, whether it's a holiday or not, waiting for odd jobs here and there. And it always, something about eating or like food insecurity really has always been like a soft spot for me. So I started, like as a young teen, I started hosting like food drives and involve my family. At first, it was during the holidays, and then I started to volunteer and work in social services with lower income and vulnerable populations. And then at some point, I was exposed to the horrors that happened in the slaughterhouse. And people ask me all the time, like, "Oh, so you're vegan, but you care about the animals, but what about humans?" And
Mhm.
again, humans are animals, but also animal agriculture has really like oppression really is connected. And so like when I work in the slaughterhouse, a lot of the workers there have been they're the victims of trafficking. We think of sex trafficking, but actually labor trafficking is like a larger scale. So they've been trafficked. A lot of them have pending immigration status, different status, and they get PTSD. And one thing that I learned about that really opened my mind was there's a form of PTSD called PITS, which is perpetrator-induced traumatic syndrome, in which people get PTSD from causing harm. And so slaughterhouse workers incur a lot of physical and psychological trauma. And then this violence leaks out into their families, and then it leads to like higher crime rates. And also lower income populations are exposed to the manure and the, just all the nasties, all the societal, like they have comorbidities, basically. They have higher rates of pollution, water, land, air, sound. And the slaughterhouses are usually in lower income populations. And this is by design, like many other oppressive things. And so when I see how the other animals are being murdered, they're being tortured just because they taste good. And then I see how parallel to that are human beings who are forced to cause harm, or they're forced to live in proximity to it. It really like lit even more fire under my ass. And so that's what gave rise to Peach Cobb. And so I have an initiative called Leave in Peace that helps slaughterhouse workers to find peaceful employment.
Okay.
So.
Well, unfortunately, slavery is still alive and well.
Oh yeah, in different forms.
Well,
It's
in
never...
many forms as of the old days and new forms, and it's probably worse than it ever was because a lot of it now it kind of tries to operate underground. The mere fact that we're using this technology, slave hands had a part in it. So I admire your passion for wanting to make life for us to see life and to maybe do better. And to me, that's the whole point of the past, because the way we look at the past is damaging to us as opposed to fearing it. We need to learn from it. Because I love it in your Bible when you talk about all things are connected, the oppression and the freedom. It's all connected. It's not a separate thing. So keep being Peach Cobb. I like your energy.
Forever in my core, my soul.
Yeah. As a poet, how does poetry help with your advocacy? Or does it? I don't want to assume.
I don't either. I honestly, it has been a lifesaver for me, and it has helped me to uncover a lot of repressed memories, a lot of harmful things that I have stored in my body. And I'm finding different ways, poetry included, to move it out of my body. And also, and I don't know, it helps me to be honest and accountable. And I try to, with my own honesty, which I'm afraid of, and I hope that it also invites others to do the same. I'm honest about what I observe, what I feel, what I experience, and everything is like so curated and filtered, and poetry is the thing for me that, like, I don't know if you notice in my poetry, there isn't really form. It's free verse, and sometimes there are some poetic devices in there, some structures, but that's not how I write genuinely, or like that's not how it all comes out.
That's probably why I like your poetry, because I'm similar that way.
Wait, I don't think I made sense what I said. Let me rephrase. I don't think in form. I just feel, and it all comes out. And honestly, sometimes I don't even like to edit my poetry, although some people have helped edit my poetry, like Nona Lee, who's here, has helped edit some of the poetry that I shared today that I think has helped finesse them and made them more impactful and more clear in the messages I'm trying to convey. But like at my core, I don't really like to edit, because I feel like sometimes the true message gets diluted because you're trying to have it so technically like sound or presentable. Right. But I know that of course it's like a mix of both worlds that can really create a powerful piece that can really deliver a strong message. But for me, poetry is permission, it's honesty, it's bearing witness when I share it and when I bear witness to others' poetry, which we will do later. And also in my book, for example, My Fears Out Loud, buy it if you want.
Yeah, hold it up nicely so we can see. Yeah.
So here, for example, I said earlier that people say, oh, you're vegan and you don't care about humans. And so the way I also structured my book is to kind of earn the credibility of people who might be interested in me. So, I talk about mental self-awareness, self-love, self-acceptance, and then I move on to generational trauma and healing, and then I talk about social justice and injustice, and I include veganism in there, but it's mostly towards the end, so that by the time you get to the end, you won't dare ask me, what about humans? Because then you'll see I care about all of us.
All of us, yeah.
Even though I'm a little mad at humans, but um, yes, I do care about all beings.
Yeah.
So
Well, you could
it's
be mad and
subjective.
you could be mad and still care.
Exactly.
It's
And
not
I
one.
and
Yeah.
that is exactly my sentiment. I am enraged at the human behavior.
I
And
get it.
also I see
Yes.
the beauty. I see the beauty of some humans, the
Well, you and I
helper.
are very similar that way because everything I do is about trying to uplift our human consciousness.
Yes.
I love humans. I love being human, but I'm also at times pissed at humans because we're the ultimate virus on this planet, and if we don't check ourselves, we will destroy ourselves,
If
and
we
that's
don't check ourselves, we'll wreck ourselves.
yes, exactly. And this is why I say the way we look at history is damaging to us because what's the point of having all that intel and then use it in a negative way to just keep doing what you say you oppose, and that's the human condition. And I accept to some degree we're still a relatively young species, but at the same time I don't accept that because we've been doing this for a while now. This is not new. Even all the things we're doing today, we act like it's something new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. We've done this in other forms before. Maybe not to the certain degrees of severity, but we've done it before. So what are we learning? So, but it's an interesting walk being human. And I can only imagine what it's like for the other species that we share this planet with, knowing that they have to share it with us because,
Mm.
like our pets, they love us, but then they sit there and they go, I see the madness. So it's an interesting thing. Anyway, I could talk to you forever. Maybe we should have an offline chat. Um, what's your favorite color?
Your favorite color?
Yeah.
Well, what's that again? Oh, it's blue. It's blue.
It's
Well,
blue.
also when I
Okay.
was designing the cover,
Right.
or I wish this was my illustration. It's not. It's a Shane Maynard, an amazing poet and illustrator. Um, but I chose blue because I was looking up colors and um, blue, from what I'm understanding, well, it's beautiful, of course, but also it is said to convey like trust and warmth
Hmm.
and safety. And those are all things that I always strive for I look for it and I try
Hmm.
to offer it in the spaces that I hold.
Yeah. Blue is an interesting color. In my corporate days, used to do a lot of personality uh, type of work. And one of them, blue, is if you're slighted blue, you're more people, but very empathetic and concerned about other people's well-being. So that kind of, from what I little I understand of you, that seems to fit. So, and this is why I like doing these interviews to get to know poets in a different way. So, but like I said, I want to start wrapping this up. What is your favorite sound? What do you love really hearing?
Mm, Sometimes I just like silence.
Mm,
It can be loud. Sometimes I just like that.
yeah. Well, like I said, it came through in your set. I love. Well, no, I don't know if it was by design, but I love the pregnant pauses. I love the period. Even if you're looking for a poem, what are you going to read? What blah blah blah. I love it because it gives us a chance to absorb and to be still in that moment to appreciate what we're doing. So, last question. Oh, before we go, because Filipino food. How important is food to you? And being Filipino, my understanding of food, because my neighbor is Filipino, she's constantly bringing us, not constantly, brings us food a lot of meat in it. But as a vegan, how has that been challenging for you?
Well, so also in my activism in regards to veganism, a lot of people from all the cultures are like, oh, but my culture, in my culture, we eat so much meat, so
Hmm.
many animals.
Hmm.
Same thing with Filipinos. Yes, they do eat a lot. We do tend to eat a lot of animals, especially like sea animals. And so, if I'm being honest, I do sometimes miss like the flavor and the texture, but my ethics override my sometime yearning, rare, like craving for the taste. But because I love to cook, and I think I'm pretty good at it, I don't know, ask my partner. Whenever I have a craving, I just look it up and then I tweak it and I make a vegan version. Like literally anything can be veganized. And when you think about it, it's like, okay, like we have a dish that's like blood sausage. I mean, when you really think about it, it's like a soup that is blood. And then we also have like the what is it? The innards? Would you say innards of
Yeah.
the animal?
Hmm.
And when you really think about it, do you look at the animal and like, wow, I'm gonna have your blood and your organs? Like, I don't think so. But it's all part of the conditioning as well. So I have gotten really good at emulating like the flavors and making them my own and the textures. So if anyone's in Portugal and you want some Filipino food, it will be vegan if I make it for you, obviously. But you are welcome, and I will cook for you.
Sounds good. Sounds like an open invitation to the group. So, last question. If God does exist, and when
Mm.
Maureen gets to the pearly gates, what would you want God to say to
Where the hell were you?
you?
Where the hell were you? Are you, did you miss what's been happening? Uh, yeah, I think that's it. Where the hell were you?
I gotta start charting the responses to this question and then make a book out of it. That's a really love that answer. Where the hell were you?
Thank you.
God's pissed at you for taking your time. But then again, God made you that way.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, like I said.
Yeah.
I think my partner in crime who helps me run the Inspired Poetry Corner, Angie's on here, and we do a talk show called Above the Noise. I'd love to have you on, um, obviously sometime in 2025, particularly when we talk about life, capitalism, socialism, all that sort of thing. I'd love to have you on to get your views on certain things. So, but you're
Thank
very
you.
insightful. I'm so glad that however long ago when I first came across you and I heard your poetry, I was taken back. I don't necessarily agree with everything, but I love your poetry. I love the way you think. I love your passion. Um, the little I know of you, you seem open, at least open to discussing, even if we don't see things the same way. So I love the flow of your. I just love your flow. I think you're very conscientious, and I don't know. The world probably needs more people like that, especially in these crazy times. So Portugal is lucky to have you. We're lucky to have you, ladies and gentlemen. We were just treated to a most powerful and most
Right.
soulful rendition of poetry by Maureen Medina, aka Peach Cobb. Unmute yourselves, please, and show us some love. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much,
much.
so much,
Thank
Maureen.
you.
Thank you so much.
Bravo.
Well done. Well done. Let me drop you back into.
Awesome, Maureen.
Cheryl, you're speaking, but we can't hear you.
Maureen, I really enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm so inspired by you.
Thank you, Artemis. Nice to see you.
You too.
Is this your first time hearing her, Artemis?
Yes.
Yeah. It's the same effect she had on me the first time I heard her. So,
Mm.
yeah.
It's powerful.
It's powerful. Oh no, Cheryl was saying something. It looked like it was really good, and then, but and hopefully you can get your your audio going because you are slated to recite. Um, but yeah, scrolling through the windows, just watching people's expression and just in how many people were just captivated by you. So I think Finn had to go, but she goes, I could have listened to you all day, which I agree with that sentiment, and not just the poetry, but the conversation. So anyway, well done. I really hope you feel well and feel good about what you just did, because it was spectacular. It was a really great representation of yourself and how you think and feel about not just humanity, but the world. So thank you. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. Now you get to sit back and enjoy and listen to the Not Ready for Primetime Poets. I always feel like I need to explain the Not Ready for Primetime Poets because we're all prime time. It's just a nice, clever play of words. Something I stole from Saturday Night Live back in the day when I had the Not Ready for Primetime Players. So I just adopted that. But it's a way for another way of just saying, inviting poets to come and support the feature. And that's what these 15, I believe 15 we have. So before we get into it, I'll just invite the poets that are coming to the mic very soon. Just be mindful of the other poets to come. Try to keep your reading and your words concise. But don't feel that you have to follow any theme like Richard asked earlier, which I was really grateful that he did ask. But you can do Halloween, you can do anything. The only thing I don't tolerate is real outright hate. You're entitled to hate, but you're not going to do it in this space. I treat this space as my house. You're welcome to come into my house anytime. But there are certain rules you must follow. If you don't follow those rules, I will ask you to leave. I will invite you back again. But then if you show me that you're not going to, I'll say thank you, but I love you from over here. So anyway, that's how we operate in the Inspired Poetry Corner. So did you get it fixed, Cheryl? I see you still. Oh. Well, hopefully we'll be here. I'm not, I'll keep pushing you down. If I come up to you and you're not ready, I'll push you down the list and hopefully you'll get it figured out. So, all right, let's get into the Not Ready for Prime Time poets. Remember, you all have up to 5 minutes, but it's not a hard thing. Just you're not going to go into 10 minutes because then that'll be like a feature set and that defeats the purpose. So. But have fun, enjoy. I think the table is really set well by our feature, Maureen, today. So let's continue the show as is tradition. The first artist I like to call to the mic is my friend Alexandra to set the stage for the poets to come and also kind of ease us into this segment with her brilliant rendition. So the mic is yours, my friend.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a short poem today for a change. And I wanted to say that I know Maureen from Speak the Word and PJ. So I just didn't know that she was nearby. I thought she was in New York, but she's kind of nearby. So maybe she can tell me how to make that sort of the cleansing stuff that she makes. I have a friend who lives in Portugal in a commune, who has a farm, and I have a Philippine friend in Athens who always gives me bags of lemongrass whenever I visit her. So
well, it sounds like since you're so close and she just issued an invitation, you should just jump on a plane and go visit her. Have her cook you some food.
Yeah.
All right, I'll leave that alone.
Okay. Yeah, so I can understand why she's working in humanities after this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very short poem. Sometimes I write a poem simple and light, without complex theories and thoughts of salvation. Simple and light, without weighing the cataclysms and epiphanies of humanity. Simple and light, without yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's desires. Simple and light, as if we have entered the absolute sanctuary. And yeah, that was me doing a very short one. Do you want longer one?
Oh, I take whatever you're set because, look, you've been doing this for a while. I think from, I don't know, 3 years ago, I guess now, when you were the first feature for the Inspired Poetry Corner, and you keep coming back. I'm always grateful. Whatever you want to share, you know how I think about your work, and so I'm looking forward to the next series when it comes out. So, well done, well done. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your constant support and your friendship. I enjoy our chats, although we haven't talked in a little bit because we both got lots going on, but that's okay. We'll catch up soon. All right. From brilliance to brilliance, this young man, Doc, the mic is yours, my friend.
Thank you. My first poem is titled Searching for a Beginning. Drifting through lost canyons of night, across hidden skies of forever, among arcane patterns of stars, I stravage through eternity, through the evernight. No compass, no star to guide me. Searching in a terrible loneliness and infinite seas of emptiness. My heart searches for a beginning, for peace, for home, for love. Searching for the one who searches for me. A few days ago, I saw a photo of a friend with his lovely lady on a pier by a beach, and this flowed from me. Its title is Sunset. Shadows deepen and lengthen as we stand on the pier at the beach. You and the velvet dark of evening wrap around me in a warm hug, and we become one. Water ripples, splashes, murmurs, and sings, travels o'er stream's ancient stony bed, eternal journey to lakes, seas, skies, and return. It sings its birth in the chants of stars and its travels through shadows of time to become. It sings of rain, snow, ice, and vapor amid Gaia's songs of past, present, and future, and Aeolus's arias of breeze, wind, and storm. It sings of life in all its forms, and it dreams of journeys yet to come. And I will finish with syzygy. I phase through among lives and timelines, dimensions and universes. Confused and agitated, I am torn among existences, not knowing. Know who or what? Asleep or awake? Not knowing where or when or if. Am I before today or beyond tomorrow? All is become a syzygical convergence of thought, dream, and nightmare. Reality has become a concept, but nothing is real, and I drift. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Doc. It's funny, I just had this thought. It's like listening to your poem because I love the line of velvet dark of evening. It's just just such a meaty, juicy line filled with so much potential. it's like your poetry is just like a love story to the universe. It's like love poems. That's how it feels to me but particularly this morning. I'm not sure why it's hitting me that way, but I really enjoy your stuff a lot, Doc. I love the fact that you're still, you still cling to love. You still, have that desire for love of it in its full magnitude. I admire that. Well done, my friend. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. All right. We have Artemis coming up. So to follow, we have Richard Harries, and Principe. But to the mic, I'd like to call Artemis, and I believe this is your first time here at the Inspired Poetry Corner, correct? Oh, it's still muted.
Oh, finally.
It's funny how we all struggle with the mute button, eh?
I take it all.
Well, welcome, and what do you got for us today?
This piece is called Inside, Outside My Mind. I wish I could fly outside my mind to leave the cares of life far behind. Up above the clouds, triumphantly I'd soar to a place I'd never seen before. I feel if I get there, it would be serenity I'd finally find if I could fly outside my mind. I wish I could fly outside my constraints, which hold me hostage until my heart feels faint. The tethers that keep my life on course make me question where the real source of my purpose and strength lies, as my dream-denied altitude ultimately dies. Before its birth or the joy of fulfilling, my body quakes at the thought of lifting off, although my heart is willing. I wish I could fly outside the need to see and feel. It would be nice to see that heaven was real. After my flight, I'd come back and tell everyone what the big deal was all about. But I would conveniently forget the part where the gatekeeper kept me out. You didn't have a ticket to allow me in. It must have been because I couldn't get rid of some leftover sin. Too much time residing in self-reflection hinders my growth in a positive direction. I wish I could forgive myself enough to break free, to exorcise the demons that torment me. Daily, I struggle not to overthink, trying to make sense of life-changing link, knowing it lies within me to bring about a brighter day as a sojourner along life's unpredictable way. I'm a work in progress, and with that, I'm okay, believing flight can take the pain away. If allowed the chance to fly on the wind, in a heartbeat, I would gladly spend precious moments of the ethereal kind, exploring the inside outside my mind. That's it.
Wow. This woman is new to, I guess, somewhat new to me. She's Angie's cousin. I think she's a brilliant poet. I invite you to encourage her to show up to other mics and to write more and to read more. That piece has a feel of Maya Angelou to it. As soon as you started speaking it and saying it, that's what I took from it. So you're a really good writer. I think you need to write more, but that's just what I think. So please reach out to her and encourage her to continue to do so. That was a brilliant piece.
Thank you so much.
Really good. Filled with so much insight. I love it. Well done. Well done.
You.
And please come back. Please come back and share more with us. All right. Up next, first Richard H. The mic is yours. From brilliance to brilliance.
Thank you. As I said, I've got several little Halloween poems, and the first three, there is a sort of warning to because they're quite bloody, you know. So if you're going to be upset, please turn me off. And the first one was a challenge, not a Halloween poem, but the challenge was to write about a lot of blood. Sudden death. She had died suddenly, violently. She lay there, and the redness of the sky matched the blood she had lost, which flowed everywhere. Found early by dog walkers, the police surgeon looked at the wounds. He had never seen such things before. He would have to examine them more. He leaned close, his nose almost touching hers. Her eyes flicked open, and her fangs flashed. She bit him deep, and he realized too late that she'd been killed by a vampire. His fate too. And Halloween Walk, which was published last year in an American Halloween magazine. I walk my dogs every night, so why not on Halloween? I mean, it's not real. I walk my dogs through the graveyard, so why not on Halloween? It's not real. I went through happily as usual, then the dogs whined and pulled. I hung on to their leads, but they snarled. I snapped their leather. Then before my eyes transformed into the hounds of hell. Red eyes, dripping jaws, I gasped and turned and ran. I tripped and stumbled with them snapping on my heels. I prayed, yes, prayed so hard that out of a grave came a bony hand and pulled me to the ground. I closed my eyes and held my breath, waited for death, the tearing of my throat. Then woke up with a start and vowed never to walk out on Halloween. Then, thank you, bloody Halloween. The house is dark and empty, boarded up and lonely. No one goes in, no one will, they dare not. Yet only 5 years ago, Susan lived there with her cat, the sweetest pure white fur baby, eyes blue as the deepest sea, the most beauteous sapphire. On Halloween, they'd stayed up till midnight. On the stroke of the midnight, the cat jumped up and screamed. Fur stood on end, eyes turned blood red, leapt from her lap to Susan's throat. Claws went in deep. Blood flowed. Susan died. Her cat licked her blood and went to sleep. It was months before they found her. The cat was fat by then, and no one will go in that house. And then a more light-hearted one, a Halloween surprise, and this has apologies to my poor mother. When I was a child, I was not wild. I thought my mother mean, because on Halloween, she made me stay in. For me, no groans or din, no trick or treat. She had me off my feet, lying in bed where I would be fed. She said all boys and girls should be seen and not heard if they could on Halloween. Boy, I thought she was mean. When I was 8, I tried to stay awake so late and fell asleep, but woke and did creep to the top of the stairs, where I was aware of a bubbling noise so strange, and I did feel the change, and I see it too that over my mother flew. She cackled and sparkled and did twitch, and I realized she was a witch. From her fingers magic did flow, and all around her was a glow. I realized why I was kept in bed, in case on Halloween I was fed into a cauldron so hot. Oh, a witch's son I did not want to be. I wanted to be free of her spells. But then I heard bells, and I was lit up in a strange light and had a real fright when she motioned to me. And I floated across, I was not free. She cackled, when you are dying will be the time to take your place as a waiter to that you will eat fried linen. And she introduced me to ghosts and ghouls as horrible as could be. I have a year to get used to the idea, and next year mix with all with no fear. Fancy that all this time, Halloween has really been mine. And that's me. I had a lovely American friend who was a poet and a storyteller, and she had a huge American-style Halloween party, sometimes at her house, sometimes in a pub. And I was aware that I had 3 Halloween poems, and I was doing them forever, every year. And I thought, because I was bored with other people repeating the stuff, so I thought I'll sit down in lockdown and write loads of Halloween things, especially for her. And I did. And then she died just after lockdown. She had cancer. And so I've got all these poems written for Andrea, and she never heard them. So that's sad. But anyway,
Well,
uh,
put it out there because
there's about another 9. I won't try to do them all,
yeah.
But anyway,
No,
thank you.
I'm glad you did them because it was really good, so entertaining and
And
I
different from me. Different from me. I'm not talking about abuse or politics or getting angry or
well,
mad.
that's the beauty, as I was saying to Maureen earlier. That's the beauty of our humanity. We can hold multiple things at the same time, not just one thing. So, that's the beauty of our complexity that allows us to be
Okay.
complex. So, well done.
Cheers.
I love. I think your friend may not be here in body anymore, but in spirit. Keep reciting it in for her.
Let's hope she can hear them somewhere.
Yeah, let's hope so. Well done, my friend. Well done. Thank you so much,
She
Richard.
loved Judy Garland, and as she passed
Oh,
away,
okay.
they were playing Over the Rainbow.
Right.
And they played that track for the last hour of her life, and it was lovely. They did that.
Sounds like a good way to go out then, my friend. Well done. Well done. Thank you so much, Richard. Always appreciate you being here and not just the poetry, but the insight that you bring along with it as well. So, all right, from brilliance to brilliance, Principe, you are next. Mona, you're on deck. Principe, the mic is yours.
First poem is called. The first poem is called "One of These Days." One of these days, one of these days, I will be in a delightful destination. It's destined for me and me alone. I will sip from the lemonade bowl in the sky of my day, which, like a shadow, will appear. One of these days, one of these days, I will be at the New York Times, my delightful destination in the near future. Right now, I'm a deer in front of the green light. Yet, one of these days I won't be. I'll be all that I'm conjured up to be on my take nine with these words. One of these days, I'll be wrapped by a new life. Everything I want will come one of these days. And I'll read another poem. One more. How does blue exist in the world? Why blue? Blue blankets, the blue skies. God's eye is in the middle, like a centerfold. The blue ocean stimulates the world with its crashing sounds. Underneath it all, a lullaby of quietness dances in particles. Yet in the ocean, a variety lives there for an annual crash of angry waves. It always pushes blue current toward the surface. Blue, like icebergs, float on blue oceans. Never does it disintegrate, but wait, it does. What do you love about blue? Do you see the blue it adds? That's all I wrote so far. Thank you.
Well done. What do I love about blue? Good way to end the poem, my friend. It's everywhere. That's what I love about it. It's everything and nothing. It's a good piece. It makes you ponder. full of imagery. Right. Well done. Keep writing. Like I said to you before, I hope one day you do end up at the New York Times if that's what you wish. So keep writing. Keep writing. All right. From brilliance to brilliance. Up next, Mona. The mic is yours, my friend. Neil, you're on deck.
Thank you, Raul. First off, I would like to thank Maureen for this beautiful, powerful presence. I really enjoyed your set, and I wanted to say, since I've just attended for the past couple of days the Dodge Poetry Festival in New Jersey, a festival dedicated to poetry for social justice and change, inclusion of all kinds. So I wanted to say that your voice felt just like it belonged there. Like I so much hear echoes of what I've heard this past few days in your poetry. So I really appreciate your voice. Thank you very much. The piece that I want to share, I wrote it in a workshop yesterday at the festival. So it's still raw, and but I'm going to share it anyway. So that's all I have. It's a prose poem called Self-Portrait. Daybreak shadows linger. I look in the mirror by the front door and wonder what my black cat sees when he looks at me. White hair down my shoulders and tired eyes, always. Why, after all these years, finally is he ready to climb on my lap and look at me with his white whiskers and languid eyes? I don't ask. Where did the time disappear? The pen in my hand is a memory, a remnant. I was young once. We are writing, surrounded by people and books. Across the room, on a bar stool, a boy with a tiny mustache and wire-rimmed glasses reminds me of my son, the desert, my son in the desert, the war still far away. The young man at the counter is writing, his youth apparent, his youth transparent. I want my son to see me like the cat ready to jump on my lap as I enter the house. I know that nothing about us is as simple, yet black and white are just ways to say, I love you. Today, I see again how night sets over the desert and how the sun comes back. Mom, I wish you could see the way wind touches my face in the early mornings, the first patrols. The kids in the village nice. Some days there are apples and candy thrown our way. I think they know we are leaving. Soon others will take our place. The desert is kind today, Mom. White hair falls on my face like a river, and I stop worrying. I'm grateful for the young man writing his life. The desert is far from us, and my son will return. I see myself in the mirror by the front door, early mornings, early fall. Small flower pots line the windows, the sun, summer, saved. The tiny seedlings rising timidly like poems out of dark husks. Why are we still afraid? There is the black cat lounging on my lap each night, the white spot on his chest stretched as he looks at me softly after all these years. My son is coming home. Thank you.
I just love when you write, particularly about your son that's serving. The desert is kind to us today. I can just hear the hope and the in a mother's voice in those words. It's such a powerful line. The pen in my hand is a memory. I would say you've taken to this poetry thing quite well, my friend. Well done. Well done. Well done, Mona. Well done. You should be very proud of yourself. Really enjoy listening to your poetry. Really enjoy it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the constant support. Thank you for the vulnerability and being open. Is your boy coming home?
Yes, he is. Sometime in November, definitely before Christmas. So his 1 year deployment is done, and who knows, he might go back, but we don't know.
Yeah, but I from my perspective, that year seemed to it just flew by. But I'm pretty sure it's different for you as a mom.
Yeah,
Knowing where your son
it was a surreal year.
I can imagine. I can only imagine, I should say. But thank you for sharing and being vulnerable enough to share it with us and inviting us uh, along the journey, and some of us more that see you more in these rooms. So just grateful for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raul.
You're welcome. All right. And then followed by her partner in crime, Neil.
Yeah, thanks, Raul. Thanks a lot. Maureen, what a wonderful, terrific, moving, and powerful set. I thoroughly enjoyed each and every poem, so I'm sure we'll interact and see and hear a lot more of you. I'm going to try and share screen now, Raul, if I may.
Yeah, it's set up for you, my friend.
Okay, thank you. And here it goes. This is something I tried to do on Finn's show recently, but okay. So hopefully you can all see that. And
hold on, before you start, is there any way to make the image a little bigger, or?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Just ask. All right.
Oh, in fact, it went into something else as a result. So I will try again. Sorry. That's, I don't know what happened there. Okay, let's just go back. I shouldn't have even tried that.
It's okay. You're good. You're good.
Okay. 1 second. I don't know what's happening now. Okay, I'm going to try again to revive it, and hopefully, can you guys see it now? No.
Stop share and
it's
then
up. Yeah.
Stop sharing and then share again.
Come back to you. I was just thinking, Mona.
I don't know what happened there. Okay.
We'll just try it again. It probably just needs to reconnect.
Reboot, yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully I'll do that. I can't. I'm sorry, Raul. I can't.
Don't Neil. Don't worry. You know, like learn from Maureen's set that you know these little moments.
Okay. All right. It's there. Okay. So what you have there, if you want to see it, I can't enlarge it. I'm sorry. It's a painting of by a street artist by the name of Kevin Lee, and it's titled "The Invisibility of Poverty." I beg your pardon. And I think it's just an excellent painting. And you know, certainly across many parts of the world, pretty much every country, we encounter poverty in some shape or form. And what I wrote was an ekphrastic piece linked to that particular painting. So here it goes. The poem is titled "An Inconvenient Truth." An inconvenient truth. Do not look away. Do not pretend you cannot see me. Do not pretend you cannot hear my pleas as my knuckles rap away on the window pane of your luxury German-made car. Their drumbeat demanding your attention. The drumbeat that falls on deaf ears. You pretend to have no peripheral sight, your gun barrel tunnel vision willing the traffic lights to change. Sometimes I see you burying yourself in your cell phone, wrapped in your worship of Mammon. The currency of your indifference is the coinage you refuse to give up, that is buried too deep in your long pockets for your short arms to excavate. Do not serve up your platitudes of fish and fishing. Either fling your coins at me or bring me a fishing pole. I have no shame. I will dive into muck and ooze and slime to fish out your meager munificence. But do not ignore me. Do not ignore me, for I am an inconvenient truth that will not go away. So thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now. And since everybody was talking about blue, you folks have probably heard this at some stage, most of you anyway. It's called Much More Than Blue. They say the ancients never knew the color that we now call blue. Perhaps it just remained unseen, hidden between indigo and green. It took the Egyptians to make a dye for blue to first be seen by the human eye. They'd ignored the color of both sea and sky. To this day, I cannot really fathom why. So what did all the scientific studies find? Were all our ancestors truly colorblind? To them, blue and green were but the same, till New Orleans gave music a new name. Thank you.
Mr. Deswani, you do not disappoint, my friend. You do not disappoint. Your gun barrel tunneled vision. Jeez. I love that piece. I love the fact that you chose an image like that. It just reminds me of the work I used to do in my other life, and particularly with homeless. And you sit and you talk with a homeless person and you watch how people will look at you like, what's wrong with you sitting with someone? Because more times than not, they walk by and don't even see that there's a person there. Don't see him at all. And that's one of the, when you talk to them, that's one of the things that when you talk about trauma, that's one of the things they talk about. It's like they don't exist. So that's a powerful piece, my friend. Then again, I'm not surprised. You're a very conscious young man. So well done. Thank you for the constant reminder of our humanity. Like so many poets here, like so many poets. Well done. From brilliance to brilliance. All right. Up next, from India, my friend Millie. The mic is yours. Thank you for being here today. And congratulations on your, I believe you got a reward at the World Poetry Conference that was put on by the Academy of Ethics. So well done.
Thank you so much. Really, I am pleased to all of you. And thank you for your kind invitation and on this beautiful stage and golden stage here also. And my love and respect to all of you. And really enjoyed a lot to Miss Maureen's. Every pen and your voice is very nice, really heart-touching. And now I'm going through my poem. The first one, the title of the poem is Age is a Social Regulator. Society reminds me I am getting old. My family reminds me I am getting old. My children reminds me, Mom, you are getting old. Can you be alone? Menopause stopped, so I am getting old. The wrinkles on my smooth chin reminds me I am getting older. So now I have to elude dark lipstick, dark makeup. Light colored clothes suits me now. Society fixed everything. Thus we have to fight with our mind. A horrible war starts out in mind. Sometimes I forget. I also human beings. I have some desires. I can still plant trees. I can teach society. I can love myself. I can make new friends, even if I think, if I want at this age. Again, I can still fall in love. If I want, I can also carry a baby. I can be a mother again. Every human character has an age. Age is a wonderful social regulator. In society's eyes, if you grow old, never let your mind grow old. In this world and then again, we wouldn't be born as human beings. Age is not a barrier to keep ourselves healthy and wealthy. This is my first poem. And now I'll go to my second poem. I don't want to die. I think everybody don't want to die. Doesn't want to die. Death is knocking at the door of my life. But I don't want to die. He says me after some time will be turned into burning ashes. And then there will be no trace of you. Death is knocking at the door of my life. But I don't want to go to his country. He's saying again and again, the pyre for you is ready now, and there is no way to come back. Death is knocking at the door of my life, but I don't want to go with him. I don't know How I may return to this lovely earth. Every moment it is embracing with me. Death is knocking at the door of my life. But I don't want to respond to him. He says, I'm sitting beside you, beside your bed, decorated with lovely flowers. You don't know what will happen after some time. Death is knocking at the door of my life. But I don't want to die. I want to lie badly. I never want to leave this beautiful earth, which is heaven for me. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
And your poetry is just so exquisite, Lily. Oh,
Thank
I
you,
love them. I love the two you chose. Getting old and then death. That's that's very interesting.
Thanks so much.
I would tell people if God does exist, God has a very peculiar sense of humor because, you know, you get older and you start acquiring all this wisdom and then the body starts falling apart. So it's like you don't have the opportunity to really use it the way you want, but that's all good. So well done. Well done. For those of you that aren't familiar with her, you got a little sampling of maybe that's why she got a special award at the conference this week. You're a good writer. I really enjoy your writing and enjoy hearing you recite. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being here today. All right, from brilliance to brilliance, this young man said,
brother, I also really enjoyed a lot in this
sorry,
platform.
say that again.
I also really enjoyed a lot in this platform.
Oh, of course.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind invitation here.
Oh, anytime, my
from
friend.
India.
Anytime. I enjoy having you here. So,
thank you.
From brilliance to brilliance, this young man, the way memory serves, is the reason why Maureen was here. I believe it's, I don't know how, I believe it was Keith that somehow had Maureen come to a show that I did, but you know, brilliance knows brilliance. And here's another compassionate soul that uses poetry to invite us into our own vulnerability. And I love that about him. So I will simply say, Keith, my friend, the mic awaits you. Oh, you're still muted, my friend.
Once again, thank you so much, Rolf, for that great intro. This piece is dedicated to my mother and father, who passed away before poetry found me and never heard any of my poems. But I do believe, honestly, that they wanted me to be the voice they never had. This is also dedicated to Mr. Eddie Poetastic for his open and generous heart. I am in awe of him. And I am definitely, as everyone else here, is in awe of my heart sister, Maureen. You are the best. So I feel like bowing and saying, I'm not worthy, Maureen. Okay. My piece is called Bursting. Bursting, which is how I feel right now. I am about to burst. I am drums beating in my chest. I am an unquenchable thirst. I am a blood vessel about to burst. I am an untold story in stories. For one poem, is a poem if it isn't spoken? Is a path if it isn't taken? Is bond still bond if his martini stirred, not shaken? I'm the voice my mother and father never had, speaking the language of bold. I ache with the language of I am here, motherfucker. I am the vow that refuses to be silent about the things that really matter. I am bursting with story. I am from the poor tough, trying to get by, but don't give up on your dreams. Hard scrabble west side of Fresno. I am Chinatown, where the winos on East Street sit lined against a wall like birds of prey on a telephone wire. An alcohol-smelling gauntlet calling out to the 5-year-old me. Hey, Sonny, you got any change? I am white suburbs where we moved in the 3rd grade. I hid the Chinatown in me, told the kids I didn't know how to use chopsticks. In the suburbs, shame spread through my veins like an infectious disease. My throat, under the boots of every kid goose-stepping in the Ching Chong Chinaman parade, grinding a lasting heel print, a black and blue bruise of self-hate. I am Chinese and Catholic. I am bursting with guilt. Syndrome. When I learned not to cry, when I said, poetry, that's for sissies, when I banished my shiny patent leather dancing shoes, when I was afraid, most of the time, I wasn't man enough, even though I was still a little boy. I am the wounded child inside the man. Adulthood is an addition to childhood. It's not a substitute. I am arms that embrace you. I'm a hand to hold. I am eyes that see the poetry in you. I am ears you can whisper into. I am bursting into view with the untold stories of my culture. I am glimmering, glistening mirror, a gift for the emaciated boy with swollen belly, starving to glimpse his own reflection. I am bursting with pride. I'm the yellow mamba. I'm Jeet Kune Flo. I'm Enter the Poet. I am kicks of fury up David Carradine's ass. I am a dance in search of a beat. I am breathtaking, earth-shaking, law-breaking, bringing home the bacon, quaking and shaking, sexy Asian hips. That's right, I said sexy Asian hips. I am laying claim to my space. I'm declaring the beauty of my golden amber honey butter skin. I am hope rising. And maybe, just maybe, there's a part of me in you and a part of you in me, just bursting at the seams with a story to tell. But as for me, without a doubt, my brothers and sisters, I am absolutely, positively, unequivocally a
Hopefully he'll come back. Well, I hope we didn't lose him. That's unfortunate. Keith, are you back? Yep. Can you?
I'm back. I can hear you.
Yeah, you froze there, so we had a problem. Can you read the last 2 stanzas of that piece?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or maybe the last 3, because you were in such a good flow and then it froze. So
maybe there's a part of me in you.
Yeah,
Did you
go
hear
from there.
that?
Yeah, go from there.
I am hope rising, and maybe, just maybe, there's a part of me in you and a part of you in me just bursting at the seams with a story to tell.
Hmm.
But as for me, without a doubt, my sisters and brothers, I am absolutely, positively, unequivocally about to burst. I hope you heard it that time.
Yeah, we did. Yes. Thank you so much for that. Oh, I think I'm adding you to my first of all, I love the sexy Asian hips. So I'm gonna say I officially have a man crush on you, Keith. And I am the vow that refuses to be silenced. Talk about a powerful title for a book or a poem on its own. Yeah, you are the voice of your parents, and I'm pretty sure they'd be proud of you, my friend. Well done. That's why I always say the
Thank you.
more we hear each other's story, the more we hear of ourselves in other people's story, and vice versa. Um, yeah, I just love your invitation to us all to be vulnerable, to be in touch with it, to not fear it, you know, especially for men. Vulnerability is, for too many people, is viewed as a weakness, and it's not a weakness at all. It takes tremendous strength to be vulnerable. So thank you for leading that charge with us, poets. Well done, my friend. Well done. I love that piece. Like I said, great title. I am the vow that refuses to be silent. Powerful, my friend. Powerful. Well done. Good to see you. I know life is busy for you, so I'm always grateful when you can be here. Thank you so much, my friend. All right, from brilliance to brilliance. Let's continue on. Speaking of the man that inspired the man that just came before us, Eddie. The mic is yours, Richard. You're on deck, my brother. Mr. Potastic, dazzle us like you always do.
I sure will. Thank you so much. But two things. Thank you so much for sharing, Maureen. Thank you for peeling layers and blowing off steam. Thank you for your worldly and emotional dreams. Thank you for absorbing it and being so supreme. And thank you so deeply much, Keith. The pleasure is mine. Thank you for keeping our hearts and minds aligned. You're never, ever far behind. Thank you for your worldly and profound literary signs. All right. My name is Ed Potastical, feeling fantastic. Please, the time you can join my rhyme five for sublime. I got three poems, so I won't take too much short three poems, so I won't take too much time. This is called What is Morning? What is morning? You need to do you need to do some exploring. It's a rainstorm and hurricane for within. It stops but goes on over and over again. It's processing all the bitter emotions. It's like swimming in a crazy ocean. I know it feels uncomfortable and hurts. You're not a curse, and don't let yourself burst. No, everyone has been there. Don't worry, everyone cares. It's not easy crying all alone. You're human, not a hard stone. Please let it all out and about. Who cares? Scream, cry, or shout. Life is a crazy, drunken thing, but it keeps going and sings. Please help your sagging core. Please tear the locks on your door. Feeling is a testament of your humanity. Life isn't about vanity, but rationality.
Mm.
Thank you. And there's one called Sharp Words. The pen is mightier than a sword. We creators inspirers in our own accord. Words are gifts, not label or curse. If you're behind, doesn't mean you're not first. I've been called types of bad names, but I'm not up in quicksand or flames. Deep down, I knew it wasn't me. It was their frustration trying to be free. I see chaos happen with just one word. I see riots happen just by flipping the bird. When you use a word, please think back. Think about consequences coming in stacks. Why not use words like sharp or nice hat? Please use your words, minus the bat. Words are used to educate, not conjugate or debate. Please bring positivity and harmony, but no hate. Every word, sentence, and essay has power. You are the gardener of this unique flower. It could be a rose, sunflower, violet, or Venus flytrap. If triggered, please close your gap before it collapses. Remember to use your words thoughtfully and wisely. Please use them highly, concisely, precisely, and nicely, but never lightly. Thank you. And my last one is called "You Never Walk Alone." You never walk alone. You're not a heavy stone. One is the lowest number that you ever do. Yet it's not about you, and you. Someone had your shoes. Don't be red, green, black, or blue. Someone knows what you've been through. One is okay, but nothing better than two. Remember, life can be a downer, but you're not a lone survivor. You can have doubts, but smile, don't pout. Things can get scary or get a bit more hairy. You just need to find some friends. Why not learn something or maybe a trend? I'm naming a few suggestions for your inner or outer situations. Like they say, it's only your mind. You're first or last, but never behind. Again, you're never ever alone. Don't stay in your personal twilight zone. Thank you.
You know, you make me want to shout, throw my hands up and shout. You know, you come across certain spirits, they just show up and you just automatically smile and feel good. That's you, Mr. Potastic. And that's the song that came to my head. You know, you make me want to shout. Well done, Eddie.
Shout. Come on, y'all.
You're just a bundle of positivity and joy, but great depth to you as well. So if you haven't figured that out yet, get to know this man. He's a pretty cool brother. I enjoy our conversations. And he's one of the guys when I'm writing a new piece and I'm looking for some insight, I'll say, Eddie, what do you think? So I always know he'll give me something juicy. So thank you for that, brother. Well done. Your poetry is like I said, I love your rhyming. I love your Hermetic quote, but when you tackle serious things, there's a whole different energy that comes over, and it just grabs my attention. I just love it. Love you, man. Love you. Well done. I see why Keith is inspired by you. So, and vice versa. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting to the end. So I appreciate your patience and just sticking it out together. You know, we still have Richard and Cheryl and Lanton and Ian and the general to come, so we're almost there. So I'm grateful that you have decided to stick it out, and let's bring this home strong. All right, from brilliance to brilliance. Up next, Richard, the mad scientist.
Thank you so much. I'm going to share a screen. I offer you this, my friends. You know, many of you are aware how intelligent our friends in the waters are, the cetaceans, whales, dolphins, porpoises, etc. I want to talk to you about Captain Paul, who has been arrested for trying to protect dolphins and whales. Free Captain Paul. Captain Ron Paul Briggs Macron for sweet asylum. Will he free from Japanese whalers? Deny him. A man who bravely stood above the wave, protecting his brothers just like he should. The sea shepherd, so bold and brave. The noble cetaceans, a sea-going tribe, is too near to extinction. The sea shepherds seek to help them survive. Capable of language, a huge, complex brain, yet some societies still hunt him for dainties. It's almost insane. He drafted a letter from his prison cell in Newark. He asked for asylum. He looks to return to France to safely dwell, a prisoner of conscience from the leader of a citadel of liberty. What will Macron do? He knows what to do. He has his duty. The SeaShepherd.org to preserve and protect a bulwark of species survival in the face of neglect. Safeguard marine wildlife. Protect our long-abused oceans from all the floating factory harvesting and other such bloody notions. Let the carvers be resting. Our ships are our headquarters, the ocean our mission. We are out on the sea in every condition. We place our people in our ships between marine life and the illegal fishing operations, the last line of defense. We know we're the last station, patrolling the Vaquina porpoise refuge on the brink of extinction to prevent the lights going out in the deep. Could there be no protection from these noble beings? Does their life have no meaning? Extinction's a forever, an end to the dreams. The zero tolerance area, a zone of no hunting, a protected place where the vaquita porpoise can't be taken or chased. Sea Shepherd has shared with the Mexican Navy resources to help protect the vaquita porpoises. Well, just maybe. The Sea Shepherd provides, during net pulls, a good working platform to free marine animals and collect scientific data that can be derived therefrom. Free Captain Paul Watson. Sign the petition. Protect the Sea Shepherd so they can continue their mission. The Paul Watson Foundation protects and preserves the cetacean civilization. Signed today, for Goddess Maya's sake. And then another one I'd like to offer you. Another one not as long as the Aeneid. No, nor the nor the Iliad. This is called Who Can Do It? And I ask you this serious question to my serious poetic friends. And by the way, let me say, Raul, my God, thank you for this great stuff. Maureen, amazing. And to all you poets, thank you for making this a better world. So here we go. Who can do it? What must be done? He knows the slant. That amazing fellow, Immanuel Kant. He doubted for sure. Without data, he'd never construe. That's not how it's done. He just wouldn't do it. Who could do it? Well, Immanuel Kant. He can't stand it. I know he can't. All he can do is go to the tavern and rant. Well, who wouldn't do it? Immanuel Kant. Sure, he's enlightened. We know about that. Forever in enlightenment, Immanuel Kant. A German genius from Kaliningrad sent that very studious fellow, Immanuel Kant. Epistemology, sure, you know about that. The college of knowledge of old Immanuel Kant. The reciprocity thesis he contends makes of us all lovers, enemies, or friends. Reciprocity provides us either a floor, we have morality walking through freedom's door, whether we choose to act morally or simply relax, provides us the logic. We know morality is facts. Whether we choose to act in morality's logic, either way we carry freedom in our pocket. In his three critiques, he synthesizes much of what mankind hypothesizes. In each critique, he analyzes just what it is humanity hypnotizes, and from how many factors we must select where we're going to reach good judgment without breaking our necks. His first book anticipated the structure of knowledge, his inspiration the professor he once met in college, and though initially, circumspiciously, he was called to the cloth, his energy and enthusiasm for study led to mathematics and philosophy. No great loss, he was no dolt, it seems he was destined for serious work, not analyzing dreams. Would he argue religion and waste time like that? Well, some certainly would do it, but Immanuel can't. His essay delineated the substance and nature of fire, a far cry from his father's saddlery empire. Immanuel lectured at university and schooled the children of his betters, but by dint of intelligence he proved himself a man of letters. His speculation envisioned an assembly of facts. Without it mere speculation, he left that to the hacks. Intellectual integrity required rigorous collection of data, otherwise as useless as a rusty sunken freighter. Despite his failure to obtain a professorship at Königsberg, he opted to pass up the poetry professorship and the prestige that would be a careerist dream and an upward road. Would he, could he? No, Immanuel can't. He preferred to stay right where he stood. Some might go, but he never would. Some might leave and through travels grant. Well, some might do it, but Immanuel can't.
So here's a challenge for you, my friend. As you're reading that, I think that's the second time I've heard that piece. Because you started off, it's not the Iliad. It's not Homer. But that piece, as you're reading it, it reminded me, I felt like, oh, this is a play. You could turn that into a play. Because it's humorous, but yet it's so deep. I think it's a brilliant, one of your best pieces, my friend. One of your best.
Well, some might do it, but Immanuel can't.
Well done, Richard. Well done. I being that you like bringing Shakespeare to us poets and putting it on Zoom, maybe we could do that piece as a poem, as a play. That's a brilliant piece. Well done. Well done. And thank you for the kind words, my friend. I always appreciate your support and blessings. So. All right, from brilliance to brilliance, Cheryl, Miss Jackson, the mic is yours. Another powerful.
Yeah, I had to change.
There, we have success.
I had to change my devices midway through, so I haven't figured out what's going on with my computer. But I just jumped on my phone because I wanted to, first of all, say that Maureen recited beautifully, and her book cover, it's amazing. I always notice covers. I don't know why that is, but I loved the cover that she was showing all of us, with the blue background and her face on the cover. I thought that was great. I'm going to read my first piece. It's called South Paw Contender. You have ducked, dodged, and taken many hits. Life has had you against the ropes more times than I can count. You just keep on swinging, boxing the wind, boxing the wind. I watch you jab, dance, and punch at the wind. Age just isn't the southpaw fighter's friend. Bobbing and weaving, caught cold a time or two. You just keep going on. You keep keeping the distance. Palooka, you say. Who? The years have moved on. So much time has passed. How many more blows can you withstand? How much longer can the matches last? You're much slower now. The fight's in the 12th round, way beyond punch drunk, refusing to be knocked down, refusing to stay down. The fight for now is over. The match has reached its end. Watching what could have been the world's greatest left-handed contender tirelessly boxing at the wind. A whole lifetime spent boxing the wind. The second piece I'm going to do is called Love Unspoken. An elongated stare, the small circle of your arms with just enough space for me. A gentle caress upon my cheek, the soothing tug of my hand. One tender and ever so slight forehead kiss lets me know of your need to feel closer to me. I too am longing for your heat. Is it possible we have developed our very own presumed unstated dialogue? I look in your eyes and they greet me with that almost secret, as if hidden only for me to see smile. We have mastered our personally distinct, unspoken language of love.
That's it, Cheryl?
That's it.
That's it. Well done. Well, you're going to give us two. Those are two powerful ones to leave. I love that, the imagery of that line, boxing the wind, right? Fighting the wind, fighting yourself. That's brilliant. Well written.
Thank you so much.
Love the hidden meanings. Well, the not so hidden and hidden meanings in that piece, right? And using boxing as an analogy for life, because boxing is a really good analogy for life. So, well done. For those of you who don't know this woman, Cheryl is agreed to be a panelist on the Above the Noise talk show. We're gonna do a 4-part series on Black consciousness, and she's agreed to be one of the panelists. I hope you would come and listen to more for insight on that show. But thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for your support. And then, yeah, you came into the Inspired Poetry Corner. I think it was earlier this year, but you came in with a big bang.
Thank you.
Well done. I really enjoy your getting to know you. I'm really enjoying your creativity. So I love the way this works. Well done. All right, from brilliance to brilliance. There is really no introduction. We just simply call him Lantern Carrier.
Thank you, my brother, and congratulations to Maureen for an exquisite and superb set. I've said all my pieces in the chat. Beacon. I sail within like a ship, lashed mercilessly against the rugged rocks and turbulent waves. The tides of my life carves heavy burdens on shoulders, carrying the weight of myriad expectations. There's a leak at the bottom of my ship. I begin to sink to the abyss of my emptiness. Here in these choppy waters, Fear stabs my heart like daggers. Loneliness slices the endings of my jagged nerves. The searing pain penetrates my emotions. A sea of acrid smells aggravates my lacrimal ducts. My tears fall like rain, even as insecurity eats into my despair. Hopelessness spills sad songs on my demise. Here in my dark ocean of anxiety, I espy a beacon of hope in the distance. I reach out to Jannah, entreating my Adhan, Basmala, and Shahada to Allah, even as falcons hover above my ship and the fierce sharks scowl impatiently. Allahu Akbar. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. My beloved responds, indeed, I am your lantern. The same light that graces the flames of your heart makes it blush like a fragrant rose in sweet surrender. Wait for me, for although I seem to fade with the dusk, I will rise again like the glorious daybreak, so you can hear my cute songs like that of hummingbirds, see me dancing your soul like Radha to Sri Krishna's flute. Let hope emerge like spring daffodils, faith remain undaunting like Hanuman's, for I will light your spirit with supernal love, fill your core with the nectar of immortality. One day we'll fly like kites, sing with the bumblebees and dance with fireflies. We'll chat into the nights, telling Anansi folk tales, play cards near firesides, singing ballads to your ancestors, the beauty of life. We'll walk along rugged country lanes filled with undulating beauty, humming to us like bees do, while the overhanging branches fan our lava, still whistling way into the evening as light zephyrs do to daffodils. The rose is a symbol of self-giving, beauty, sacrifice. Yet you are so much more beautiful. Even the brilliant horizon and radiant sun are no match for your grandeur. Sunset, a precursor to darkness, glimmers the tapestry of glory, and even the indigo moon eventually surrenders to the rising dawn. Come, for I'm not far away, just pulsing secretly in the sacrament of the present moment. I will rise like a lion when you glow like the constellations, your blood burning with agony for my sweet luster. Meanwhile, I'm in the citadel of the heart, and I wait for your sweet tears, the light of your yearning for the eternal, your pain to dissolve in wings of light. Fear not, sweet angels. Where can I go? For together as one, we are an eternal journey. Lantern Carey, thank you.
Brilliant as always, Lantern. I love the duality of that piece. The duality that's wrapped up with spirituality, universal messaging. Beginning part, the ocean, being lost in the abyss. It kind of reminded me of when I stepped inside and did that internal work, and then contrasted almost like this garden theme of good and beauty to remind us of the complexity of ourselves. That's a brilliant piece. Is that a newer piece, Lenton, or?
No, it's 3 years old. I haven't done it for a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I don't think you've ever heard it.
I don't think so either, but it's new to me, so I enjoyed that a lot.
It's hard choosing among 3,000 poems.
Well, it's a rich piece, my friend. Like I said, it's a good capture of the complexity and the duality, the contrast of life. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done. Well done. All right. From brilliance to brilliance, calling to the mic. So, General, you're on deck. And Ian, a.k.a. the Professor, a.k.a. the Velvet Voice. Ian Mac.
Thank you, Roll, for putting the name down. yeah, I bow to your superior wisdom, mate. You kind of learn to glow, to bathe in the adulation there.
Take it as
Okay. Right. Okay, I've got two written in the last 4 or 5 days, and they cover kind of opposite ends of the spectrum in a way. So I thought I'd start off with the darker one first, get that out of the way. Basically, I was on the park and ride bus into town. I had my copy of a collection of poems, "The River Dies of Thirst" by a Palestinian poet, Mahmoud Darwish. And suddenly a line phrase popped into my head. I immediately had to write it down in my notebook and found the title of this poem. It's called "The Dead Don't Remember." The ghosts of the dead remain just that, phantoms with no corporeal powers, existing merely as a memory, and like all memories, growing faint and fainter as the years peel away, receding like the distant blur of red shifting far off galaxies. Their gravitational pull barely registers on our earthbound senses. They carry their memories to the grave, a mere inscription bearing their name, accepting in recollections of those left behind to carry on the fading line, caught up in threads of invocation. But the living, those left behind, wield the arm of vengeance, while the maimed, the amputees, will carry their scars for a lifetime for all to see. Reminders of that cruelty that shows scant regard for compassion or for proportionality, blindly lashing out in a fury that will rebound on the wings of its own futility, leaving fresh wounds, cratering the collective consciousness to fester down the ages. And the book will be written, its pages steeped in blood so far, there will be no point wading back over. So each fresh edition will require what needs must in continual revision, a new chapter added to the score for each newly inflected scar. So yeah, it's a bit dark, that one. And anyway, a lighter note, another one from Cafe Nero's, sitting at my usual spot, looking out, empty-minded or gazing out at the streets and the scenes of people walking past. This one's called Inspiration. My coffee's slowly growing cold, and the weather dull outside here, sitting in Cafe Nero's, with my panna raisin going stale, but not as stale as the current news cycle, all the gossipy tittle-tattle that passes for mainstream news these days. At least it's not raining. Leastways, not yet. Barista's on her own, serving the customers, lining up in gentle order, while I'm just looking out through the plate glass window, as I usually do, hoping a stray thought passing by will pause a moment to pop into my vacant head that's lurking like a net to hold it in. Well, that's how it usually works, if I'm lucky. It seems as if I'm filling in the time these days, but at least I have my guitar lesson to look forward to. And as far as inspiration goes, I did at least get to write down a draft of this poem while I was waiting for something good or better to come along, as I was watching all the stick people flitting by, sitting here inside my L.S. Lowry mind, filling in the brief interlude between hanging around, waiting for another shot of shock and awe, or else something truly transformational, changing base lead into gold. Thank you. I hope I didn't disappoint there, Raoul.
No, not at all. Not at all. I love that last one. I love them both, actually. Those are two newer pieces. But the first one, that line, on the wings of its own fertility. That's, yeah, that really struck me. I love that. I love both pieces because I could feel myself sitting, waiting for something better and observing, and all of a sudden being hit with this blast of inspiration. Yeah. Well done. Well done, Ian. Well done. You should do something with that line. It'd be a book, but it's a powerful line, at least for me anyway. That's what I took from it. So, but then again, your poems are always filled with these lines. So the way you write and just construct. There's lots going on up here. This is why I call you the professor, my friend. All right. Up next, I'm gonna, with the indulgence of those that are here, but not too long. We're just over 2 hours. So my friend Leslie is here. Our friend Leslie is here. The general is up next, but I would like to, since Leslie has come, I'd like if we would stick around and allow her to do two pieces, if that's okay with you guys. So general, you have the mic, and then I will call Leslie to the mic. Thank you for that, Neil, because I was scrolling through a message. So, but general, you have the mic, my friend. Are you there?
Internet's been very keep on getting cut off. I hope.
Yeah, I know.
Can you hear me?
You are hearing
you. Can you hear me?
We're hearing you, but it's kind of coming in spotty. Can you hear us?
I can hear you fine. My internet is just very weak today for some reason, and I'm trying to, and I've turned everything off that I can as far as that's on my computer. So, yes, can you hear me better or not?
Yeah, just jump into it. We can hear you right now, so hopefully it'll stick.
Okay, good. Okay, so first, Maureen, you know, I really am always inspired by your work. And for the first piece, I pulled up, I can't remember, one of your pieces made me think about pulling this out, Undertow. Toes underwater, then ankles, then knees, then hips, then belly, ribs, chest, dunk, head and hair, lower shoulders fully submerged, head and shoulders rise into atmosphere. Face feels alive, eyes witness horizon.
Wasn't meant to be, guys. He's been, I don't know if you've noticed, but all show long, he's been popping in and out. So his connection is obviously problematic today. So, well, he's back. Let's see if hopefully it'll stick. Are you there, General?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not your fault.
And then just
no, just go and see how far you go.
It's AT&T. Like,
yeah. Don't worry about it.
Undertow, toes are water, then ankles, knees, then hips, then belly, ribs, chest, dunk, head and hair, lower shoulders fully submerged, head and shoulders rise into atmosphere, alive, eyes witness horizon, inhale salt air, smile, about phase, left foot forward, right foot forward, left foot, right foot, left foot, approaching shore, undertow, toes me under, lips pursed inward to preserve breath, salt water in eyes, eyes shut tight, this ocean and abyss pulled farther out to sea, body tumbling with current, human arms cradle from behind and under, hands grab shoulders, head above water, body pulled to shore, dragged across wet sand, laying on dry land, nose breathes in atmosphere, mouth with gasps, eyes open, burning from salty water. At least a dozen sets of feet and ankles surround me. I hear his voice above his legs. Are you okay?
Wow. I want to hear the end now.
Me too.
Oh, that's too bad. Oh, well. Nope. If you're there, General, just jump into the. I can't remember where you are. Just go. Are you there?
Just say that I landed. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. I know you were coming to the end of the poem, so maybe go back one stanza and try it again. Can you hear us? Hello?
Can you hear me?
No, you're kind of faint now, my friend. Hello? I don't think it's meant to be today, my friend. General, if you can hear us. Hello. You're coming in very faint. So I'm gonna move on, General. I'm gonna call Leslie to the mic, and then hopefully you can come back another time, because we're starting to get long in the tooth now. So
I guess my speaker is not working right now.
see, that's the thing. You come in really really clear, and then you go, and then you disappear. So if you're hearing me, I'm gonna call Leslie to the mic, and we'll try this another time. Okay? All right, Les. I know that's unfortunate, because we were just getting into the crescendo of the whole piece.
Yeah, right there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful to be here as always, and thanks for letting me read. And so this first one is sort of a moody October poem. Why not? It's October. It's called Dark Streets. I need to be quiet. People are sleeping, windows darkened, but I am not ready to surrender the night. The darkened windows reflect me looking and not knowing why they sleep, and me quiet, me awake to guarded darkness, the slow structure of a tree, the purple rest behind my eyes, waiting there at times, chased by the green I only sometimes have. It waits, called into action by the next wave, purple as it releases. If I were in a place long enough to know, I might remember where I am and know the streets I walk, the details of sidewalk cracks, the loosened bricks that might hide something, the fat belly of a tree that I might hide behind, sheltered from view in the dark, believing myself safe for the moment. If I was of this place, I would memorize the windows, which are arched or not, down the line of the streets I walk, but I am not from here. I only walk down the streets, being elsewhere, going nowhere, from elsewhere, visible only at times, trained to the workings of the magic cloak of the wanderer. I look out. I look out of my eyes, screening who can look at me with their eyes, the glint of recognition, brief, which a quick blink will take away and be gone, the recognition. I am not sister, brother, friend, lover, only that I walk fast, that I walk unknown, that I there am seen only if I shout and blow my cover, which I won't do, but remain where I am to be known only by the places I am, by you maybe. Not free to wander is to have no one look you in the eye and see you. To not be seen is to be let off the hook of identity, free, to not be the one wild caught, but to then swim, continuing on. The key for you to enter slipped into the cracks in the sidewalk, hidden and safe, only if no one sees you put it there. Dark streets, dark night, thoughts echo, you silent, you see in the dark and make sure that only some, those who are kind, who will see you, will be those who simply glimpse you as they walk by. So the second one's a shorter one. It's called The Reaches of the Sky. The reaches of the sky you left, you cannot touch now, only look in spirit. Its calm knowing has lifted you to that which is said we cannot touch, to touch the wordless, that other, but in saying it, it is not the what is we live with. This deep juncture, our secret as beings that we can, at the same time that we cannot at any moment transcend the belief and be as spirit dancing with the stars in the night sky. Is that what you want? Your intention to not be there, yet be there now where you cannot touch or be touched? The reaches of the sky at night took you. You reached for it, upwards, towards this, the longing for, the uplift for it, for the other, and it lifted you, gone now. The lower reaches called to you, for you, to you, aloft on your perch, there and looking down, you answered yourself, called to you, now forevermore, waiting there, no more, and forevermore, in your ways, waiting there, hovering between worlds. You know then, at that moment, who you are, and you never forget the coming back to middle. You are walking, coming back to you as you are here, and you never forget that you are both up and down and in the middle now, and see you. You see above the knowing that there is hell, and being not afraid, you are afraid, and unleash the light that shines emanating from within, and that you know the within, which lights the way, is that which lights the way, illuminating all in its cadence, its own rhythm, deepening the shadows, so we know that they are there, the shadows, even though we do not want to see, to look more onto and further into their depths, that which we do not want to see, to know their mysteries, so we know that they are there. So that's all from me. Thank you.
The not just the imagery, but the meaning of that last piece. And you never forget coming back to the middle. To me, that says you never forget that spiritual awakening, and you understand this world beyond just the physical, to embrace the contrast and the duality. That's a brilliant piece, Leslie.
Thank you.
That's a brilliant piece. Really enjoyed that. I wasn't going to read, but Maureen inspired me, and Neil's piece inspired me. So I'm going to close off the round of Not Ready for Primetime Poets with a poem. This is an old piece. I can't remember when I wrote it, but it was written many moons ago. It's called Concrete, Glass, Asphalt, and Cars. Inspired by a man, fishing rod in hand. The cup is bait at the line's end. Where are the people, my village, those who swim in conscious thoughts linked by love, the air we breathe? This city, like so many, whose heart light grows dimmer with each fading smile. Life scurries around in a feverish pitch. Many a cup lies empty, blinded by the false promise of the rat race. Oh, where are my kind? Tall buildings, small parcels of nature's green, landscape gardens, avenues lined with trees, homes that invite a sense of peace, humanity's ego alive, spreading like a virus amongst the concrete, glass, asphalt, and cars. Zombies walking, riding, driving, very few smiles. Oh, where are my kind? Where's the creative flow that is life? Are we too busy being busy? Are we so driven by the next text, Facebook update, chasing a fool's goal, that we ignore our inner voice, the inner art of our inner child that is void of concrete, glass, asphalt, and cars? My heart sings freedom. My soul longs for nature unspoiled. My spirit yearns to bathe in mother's breath. My body craves the dirt underfoot, to walk in blissful silence, to connect with all things, my humanity. Oh, where are my kind? End of piece. Thank you so
Bravo.
much. Thank
Oh,
you.
that's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
don't hear enough of your poems, man. We don't hear enough.
Thanks, Ian.
More often.
Well, I'm like you. I struggle with the praise, and
Yes.
well, I accept my.
Gotcha.
I said yes. I still have my own worthiness issues as well, but my true thing is about creating space for others so you can shine. That's what that's the joy that I get. I enjoy listening to you. I enjoy that I can create a space and then people want to come, but not just because I created the space. They want to come and hear others and to share their brilliance. So that's my true spidey sense. So I appreciate the kind words. I do enjoy writing and reading every so often, but I wasn't going to read. I was going to just end with Leslie because I saw Neil's thing and I was like, Nestle. Okay, well, get Leslie in, and because the show is always long as it is to begin with. But anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I just wanted to say thank you. As Leslie was reading her piece, a new thought came to me about to be a poet, you must be patient.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to write some thoughts down. So that's going to be the next poem I'm going to work on. Maybe I'll work on that today. I'll smoke a little bit of Mother's Finest and see how it expands my mind and what I can do with this. But thank you for that blast of inspiration. This is how I get paid. I don't look for money. I'm not one that chases money anymore. I get paid from these little gifts from my humanity, from my friends, from my colleagues, from people that I know. This is what life for me is worth. To sit for hours in patience, in silence, to listen, to be inspired, to be moved, to be angered, to love, to experience our humanity. That's what, from my perspective, that's what we gather for. We sample each other's humanity every time we do this. Sometimes it comes out good, sometimes it doesn't. That's the beauty of life. You never know. And as harsh as the life is, and it's harsh, and especially in these crazy days, there's still a lot of good, although sometimes it's hard to see that as well. And that's okay. This is why we do shows like the Inspired Poetry Corner. And this is why we do stuff like Spoken Word Online and all the other shows that are out there. It's a sampling of our humanity to remind us that we are connected, we are one. We know we breathe the same air, we know we drink the same water, but that doesn't seem to stop us sometimes from believing we're still disconnected. To me, this is the power and the beauty of poetry. It's an invitation to embrace all of our humanity, not some of it. Maureen, this is why I trust the universe and how spirit moves me when I asked you to be featured, how many months ago that was. That was such beyond thought-provoking, the serenity that I felt from listening to you, the tempo that you delivered, the spacing within the safe space that you started off with. You were brilliant. You are brilliant. That feature said, I look forward to when I'm editing the tape and just putting it together and listening to it again. Thank you so much for sharing your humanity with us, giving us a small glimpse of who you are within. I am grateful. Thank you. And to all the poets that came today. And today we were blessed to listen, excuse me, to Alexandra, to Doc, to Artemis, to Richard H., Principe, Mona, Neil, Millie, Keith, Eddie, Richard S., Cheryl, Anton, Ian Mack, the General, and Leslie. Friends, colleagues, poets, humans. I love you all. Be gentle with yourself so you can be gentle with others. Just remember, we walk the same earth. We breathe the same air. We drink the same water. We all come from woman, and death will visit us all. Let's not be colorblind. Let's be human-sighted. You guys have a fantastic day or night, wherever you are. Stay well, be in good health, love those that matter most to you. Until we connect again next month. Peace.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Brilliant
Bye, everyone.
afternoon.
I'll let you buy me a coffee at Capinero's sometime, Neil. Let me know when you're
Bye.
Let me know when you're in town.
January. Next Jan. I'm there.
There you go.
I'll see you.
And then I think Marina and Alexandra have to connect and get some vegan food. So anyway, you guys be well.
Yeah, and the washing up liquid.
Bye, folks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Love you. Peace.
Bye.
Thank